once we met up in person, and at some point it was just like, why don't we link? Like, let's get in the studio together.
Yeah.
That's when really it was like, we started working fast.
It ain't that I can't stop, it's that I won't stop. I made a few plays off a flip, now I'm on top. I'm Southside Chief, homie. Yeah. What you know about it? Lake Street legend CEO, not the co-founder. What you wanna know about me? I'm so turfed up. I'm the last man standing, but I went first up. Most hated, they don't say it when I roll up. The things that people say about me, they don't say close up. Check it.
Spit 100 bars.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
I don't know if you heard on the album, but the single Patterns,
Yep.
he's got like a longer verse. And it's the same thing.
Yeah.
And he just went in and I'm like, I can't cut that. You killed that shit.
Nope, you can't do it. You can't do it. All right, so you ready to go?
Yeah.
All right, another episode of Minnesota's #1 daily show live on Lake Street. Special guest in the building. We got Ace P.
What up?
They've been asking us to have more producers on the podcast, and obviously, like, we're not shying away from producers, but I was having a conversation with Juice. That's somebody I'm close to in the industry.
Yeah.
And obviously, you're like his alchemist. You know what I'm saying?
Appreciate that.
You guys did his last project.
Yeah, Don't Be Stupid.
Don't Be Stupid. Great project.
Yeah.
And then you guys just did your project, which
Yep.
obviously he was a part of as well.
Yep.
And then do y'all got another one coming?
So he's working on a solo project
Okay.
separate from all that. And
Yeah.
I think, I don't know. I know that he's got a lot of joints. He's kind of like in between and what's going to make the final cut.
So
But
you'll
I know-
have some some work on there.
I know. I want to say I've got at least like 4 to like 6 beats on that joint.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a
yeah.
lot.
No. And then we definitely want to get back to Don't Be Stupid too. I don't know.
Yeah.
With all this other stuff we got going on,
Yeah.
whether that's going to be this year, next year, that type of thing. But yeah.
Yeah. That's dope. Well, I think your production reminds me of a better time, which maybe isn't fair because we're still in a time where your style of production, it still is prominent.
Yeah. No.
It
You
just
do see
isn't.
It.
It just isn't what gets like. It doesn't get the major high. I mean, I feel like maybe it's starting to again.
No, I agree with everything you're saying, though. Like, I feel like, especially it wasn't for a while. Now you see with some pockets of people like Griselda, especially,
Yes.
like, it is a little bit more, which is dope to me because that's what I like and that's what I make.
Right. That soulful
yeah.
sample. Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, yeah, I think that's just like something I need to know going into it. That it's not going to be played at the clubs. It's not going to be on the radio. And it's not that type of thing. And that's fine to me. That's what I like to make. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And you can make. I mean, I think Kanye showed us in his early days that you can have a very very soulful beat with samples and it will get airplay.
Yeah, I think Harry Fraud does a good job with
Harry
that.
Fraud does do a good job of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
No,
You're
that's
right.
something. I think that's something that I want to,
Yeah. I
have
mean,
in the back of my
Alchemist too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alchemist too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But you're right. It does seem like it's become more of a niche
Yeah.
thing, which
Yeah.
is sort of disappointing, but I also feel like it makes us appreciate it more. Because,
Yeah.
bro, if you really think about like hip hop, there's just nothing better than a soulful beat. You know what
That's
I
how I
mean?
feel.
Like,
That, for me, it's just making the shit that I like. Really,
Yeah.
And I feel that exact way.
yeah. And luckily for you, you're in a good place geographically
Yeah.
for artists that also like to rap on those beats.
Yeah, I
and
mean,
sound great on those beats.
Yeah. We were just talking about all the people that I've been working with, and there are artists who just snap on those kind of beats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Y Khalik is one that I think Y Khalik doesn't probably get his proper flowers.
Yeah.
I don't think. I mean, maybe nobody does, but we don't talk about Y Khalik as one of the like best rappers ever in
He's
Minnesota.
top tier. Yeah. He's absolutely top tier. That last project he just came out with, North
Yeah.
Baby, that's nuts.
Bro, he raps with just about anybody. You know what I mean? I know you've probably heard my sentiment when it comes to Nucky.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I think Nucky's untouchable.
Nucky is insane. Nucky, I think I listened to the interview you did with him,
Yeah.
and I forget exactly how you said it, but it's effortless for him.
Yeah.
It's just completely effortless. Like, he's the dude that comes through. We're all working on a track, whatever. Everyone's been working on their verse.
Yeah.
He lays it down in one take, and everyone's like, shit.
And even
bro.
like his like the way like his hand gestures, it just looks like he's just like fucking whatever. I don't know. This is easy. Fucking move around, get out of my way. Like, so yeah, and it's dope to see you working because like I came around, started doing this.
Yeah.
Live on Lake Street is fairly new, but I started talking into mics and interviewing artists in 2015.
Yeah.
And at that time, Y Khalik had a major buzz.
Yep.
Juice Lord was like the young
Well, he had come
gunner.
out with like 3 for 3, 4 for 4 at that point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's really like when I came. It was like when Lord Season was really born.
Yeah.
Because I think he was going by something else.
Yeah, like before, like
just
early,
before I had
Yeah.
come around. Like
Yeah.
he just started doing Juice Lord. I forget what it was.
Yeah, that was definitely before I worked with him.
Yeah, but yeah, he's really, you know, he's a hometown favorite.
Absolutely.
I'd like to see him become more than just a hometown favorite, but
Yeah.
like there's nobody you can talk to that knows anything about music in Minnesota that you don't bring up Juice Lord to and they're like, "Oh, I love that kid."
Just moving throughout the city with him to
Yeah.
me is like the funniest thing because
Bro.
you go into any restaurant, any room, whatever.
Yep.
He knows about 6 different people, whatever.
Yep.
Like my sister was talking to me. She's like, "Yeah, I was talking to the lady that does my nails, like getting ready for your show," and she's like, "Oh, I know who Juice Lord is."
Yeah.
Like he just knows everybody.
Yes, yeah, it's pretty amazing and it's great. And there's not a better guy.
For
You know
real,
what I mean, it's
for
just
real.
not a better guy.
For real.
So anyway, so let's talk about you, man. So I want to talk about the project. Before we talk about the project, I'd
Yeah.
like to get to know like a little bit about like where you came from,
Yeah.
how you got started, all
Yeah.
that. So like, are you from St. Paul? You from Minneapolis? You
I'm from Minnesota. I grew up in a smaller town like north of here. Went to
Okay.
high school there, and
Okay.
then moved to Minneapolis after that.
Got you.
Yeah, yeah.
What town?
Mora, M-O-R-A.
Okay, yeah,
It's a
I know
small
about
town.
Mora,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. No,
Not,
so
not a big town.
no. And I was born. I didn't really live there at all for very long, but in San Francisco because that's where my parents were from. My
Okay.
dad was from Oakland. Mom was from there.
Okay.
They moved here because that's where her family was from. Whatever.
Yeah.
But having that, I think, exposure through his lens and like his side of the family being out
Your
there,
dad.
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, that Oakland.
Yeah.
Your dad's from Oakland.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
And so
Oakland.
like that whole side, and he's much more into like the soul music. He's from
Yep.
that era and all that. I think really made me want to be not in Mora, in the cities around music, all that.
Yeah, it's tough being. You know, I did it backwards. I used to be in a city,
Yeah.
and then as time went on, it was like my family started growing. I was like, let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
So
Get a little more space.
Yeah, I live.
Yeah.
So now I live a little bit further up north
Yeah.
than I used to.
Yeah.
Which is not, I hated it at first. Now I love it. The silence, the peace, the feeling like it's. I like to feel. I need to feel separation.
Yeah.
So I understand there's a need for that, but also understanding that like you got to be in the city too.
Yeah, no, I get that. I think for me, like right away, I was like, I just want to be in the city. I want to
Yeah.
be around people. I want to be able to like work with people. I had been, doing music stuff, but it wasn't, there's not people to connect with in that same way. It's not like you can just go to shows, go to open mics, meet
Yeah.
people in that same way, anything like that.
So before you actually moved to the cities, were you finding ways to connect to the Twin City, like the big cities from out there?
No, and that's not because I wasn't. It's really just because I wasn't even like doing that much seriously with music. It was
Yeah.
much more like me and like at that point early in high school and like GarageBand. You know what I mean? Just
Yep.
like learning what sampling was. Like
Yeah.
I got like a sampler and then I'm kind of like messing around with that, but it was nothing that was like serious to the point that I think I wouldn't have even felt comfortable reaching out to somebody and been like, "Yo, here's my beat," just
Yeah.
because I was still kind of learning my own thing then.
Yeah.
I think it was as I got here and I started to connect with people and I don't know. You just start to meet people. You play beats, even if it's more just like, "Yo, what you think about this?" And then you get good feedback, and then you start feeling a lot more comfortable, like throwing that out there, trying to meet people, trying to do that whole thing.
So how did you go about like connecting with people once you kind of maneuvered your way into the cities? Was it
Yeah.
like, go to shows? Was it
Yeah,
get in the
definitely go to
studio?
shows. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like the best way for me was meeting people in person
Mm.
and being there in person. You can hit people up, you can message them, you can be like, "Yo, here's some beats," whatever,
Yeah.
and that can happen. But when there's like an actual, real connection,
Personal.
I feel like that's what happens more often than not.
Yeah.
And so, like with Juice, I think when he came out with 5 for 5,
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember the name of the track, but there's a track on that I just loved, and I had some beats that I was like, I think that he would sound really hard over some of these beats, whatever. And I think I had like seen him at shows, but I don't think he really knew who I was because so many people, whatever. I hit him up and I was like, "Yo, I got some beats, whatever." Then we would see each other out and about. He had already recorded over some of the ones I sent him in that first pack then that I sent him. But once we met up in person, and at some point it was just like, "Why don't we link? Like, let's get in the studio together."
Yeah.
That's when really it was like, we started working fast.
Yeah, because your name started to really. I mean, not to take anything away from you, but when you started working with him,
Yeah,
that's
no.
when I started hearing your
Yeah,
name, who
yeah.
you were. I think one of what was the first song y'all ever did together?
Well, we released a single year 7 probably.
I think that's what it was. It was
Yeah,
year 7. I think
yeah.
I shared that or something,
Yeah.
and I tagged you in it
Yeah.
or something like that. And I'm like,
You're
yeah.
probably, who is this guy?
I mean, I was.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
no, for real.
definitely was. But
Yeah.
I was like, it was more like, damn, who is this guy? Like,
Yeah.
he's small. Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. So you made your way into the cities. You worked your way into. Are there artists that you haven't worked with that you'd like to work with?
Definitely. I mean, there's a lot of talented MCs in the
lot.
Twin Cities. A lot of talented MCs.
Yeah.
And so, at first it's like almost overwhelming of like, you know, who do I want to try and get beats to, who do I want to try to connect
Yeah.
with, and then it's less so because like the guys on the album that I came out with
Yep.
have been people that I've just developed relationships with, people
Yeah.
that I just kick it with. Like recording the whole thing was pretty organic because they're just people that are like over at my spot pretty regularly anyway.
You record at your house?
Yeah, in my basement.
That's a big benefit too.
It's really nice for that.
Having the studio at your house and
Yeah.
you're the producer. Like, hey, you don't want to make this or not? Because I'm at home. Come over.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
nice. That's a big benefit.
Yeah, it's really nice, especially if we're putting something like this together where then it's just like come through, you know, might not have written anything, just listen to some beats and let's
Yeah.
just kind of create. It's not like we're on any schedule because we're in some other space.
Yeah, that's really nice. That's a
Yeah.
major benefit.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the project. How long did the project take to make?
I started recording it probably about a year ago, but I
Okay.
don't want to make it sound like all the music aspect of it took a full year.
Yeah.
I feel like we were probably done with a majority of it, especially like the recording of vocals, like early summer, last summer.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was me taking a lot of times, making tweaks and all that.
Final touches.
And then my vision really for it, which I thought would be hard, especially with how many people are involved in it, would be to do this release show that we did.
Yeah.
Perform the album front to back, have the album drop at midnight, right after the release show, and like
Yeah.
roll it out that way, and have people like give people a chance to like hear the album live before they even hear it. On
I tried to
stream.
make it out to the show. I ended up not being able to.
Oh, I
but
appreciate it.
I wanted to come though.
No, it turned out it was dope. It was a fun show. It was
7th
dope.
Street, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was dope. It's dope to see these tracks that we all record and all that come to life and like people rocking with it and all that.
Yeah, and you got all the guys that can do it without the backing vocals.
Yeah, for
so
real.
you get the real actual experience of like rap.
Yeah.
Like, they're rapping.
Yeah,
You're
when I bounce show mixes, I don't even give them that option. I'm
That's
like,
good.
we're not doing the backing vocals.
That's
We're
good,
not
and
doing all
none
that.
of them. I mean, at least the guys that I know of, none of them need it.
No, absolutely not.
None of them need it.
Absolutely
I mean,
not.
bro, it's really hard to say. I mean, this is gonna sound. Well, some people are gonna feel a way about this, but bro, you kind of got the best of the best. I mean, there's a few guys that maybe aren't on there that could be, but like, man, everybody did their thing on this project.
No, that's how I feel. These are like some of my favorite MCs. In
These are
Twin
the
Cities.
top tier MCs, top
Yeah.
tier rappers. Like, not a lot of people when it comes. Like, look, they may not all make the greatest music, and I'm just saying that in general.
Yeah.
But when it comes to rap, there's not a lot of people that are rapping with these guys.
That's how I feel. That's what was so cool for me to come in and be like, let's craft this project together.
Yeah.
Let me handle the beats. Let me handle everything behind the boards, all the transitions. Y'all are amazing rappers. Let's put together some crazy tracks.
Yeah, bars.
Yeah.
Just bring the bars. Yeah.
Yeah.
So talk to me about the title. Things I can't speak of.
Yeah.
It's things I can't speak about. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
What is the meaning behind it?
There's a lot of different ways I think a person can take that, and I don't think there's a wrong way, and I think that's what I liked about it.
Sounds like some mafia shit.
Yeah, and I think that was the first. I was watching movies and I like thought about that and I was like, oh, that's hard.
Yeah.
But then it became like somebody was talking to me about like when you make beats, like the first track, all the guys kind of talk about similar topics and they're like, is that something you talk about in the studio? Like, how does that all happen? I'm like, honestly, no. Like, I play beats for them. I think I kind of have an idea, but I think they hear things and it's kind of like something that you can't talk, words can't describe. It's something
Yeah.
you feel more. And so
Okay.
like in the same way, it's that.
That's dope.
But in the same way, there's a lot of things that these guys talk about on the project that are like close to them and things that are hard to talk about sometimes. And those
Yeah.
are things you can't talk about. Or for me, I'm a producer. I don't even rap. So these are things that I don't speak about. Or as like a white guy, these are things I can't speak about with these experiences they've had. And so I feel like there's like, to me, so many different ways you can flip it. And I actually
Yeah.
really like that.
That's really dope.
Yeah.
The way you just broke that down was perfect.
Yeah.
That's really I especially like you're the producer.
Yeah.
So you can't you're not speaking.
Yeah.
You speak through them,
Yeah.
kind of almost. You speak through the sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really dope. And
Yeah.
not to mention you speak through the little samples.
Yeah. No, I like that a lot. Yeah.
So the like I told you, the Big Lebowski. That's one of my favorite films, like of all time.
Me
I mean,
too.
if you haven't seen the Big Lebowski, I don't know what you're doing. I know a lot of that movie probably goes over a lot of people's heads because you have to really understand dry humor.
Well, it's a movie that's easy to get caught up in the plot, and the plot means absolutely nothing to
Yes.
the movie. And so I tell people, like, watch it. Don't even give a shit about what's going on in
Right.
it. Just enjoy it for what it is.
Yes.
The main character doesn't know what's going on.
No. I think it's so funny too because I remember the first time I watched it, I was very young, Like I think it was just out on DVD. Or
Yeah.
It might have been VHS.
Probably
at the
VHS
time.
at that time.
And I
yeah.
think like my mom rented it.
Yeah.
And like we sat down and watched it in the living room, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Why? I don't know what's happening. This is
No, you have no idea
ridiculous.
what's going on.
And then I watched it again, like as like a teenager, and I'm like, yo, how did I fucking sleep on this? This is hilarious. Now every time it's on, I'm watching it. Like I'll randomly pick it to watch it
Yeah.
just every once in a while. So I
Yeah.
think that's great. What is there a specific reason you chose some of the clips you chose?
Partly, not to say just the Big Lebowski specifically, but because there's so many different rappers, I feel like a project like this could not be cohesive, and it just sounds like it's almost like when people throw together like a mixtape of a bunch of different people, and that's dope. There's nothing wrong with that, but I wanted to try and be cohesive in a way.
So you almost used that to make it thematic.
In a way, yeah.
I like that.
Yeah,
That's
and
really
so
dope.
like I tried to like if you listen to it from top to bottom, like there's a little bit of the story that it tells, and I
Yeah.
tried to pick certain clips like after the track, The Hustle with Righteous MC.
Yep.
He's talking about like she needs money, this girl
Yep.
needs money, all that, and so kind of like trying to tie all that together with what's going on.
I was so thrown by it because like you hear things like the samples and like
Yeah.
movie clips in
Yeah.
songs, but then when it leaked into track 2, I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, this is still going. This is a whole new song and it's
Yeah.
still going.
Yeah.
And I had to double back. Like, wait a minute, is this still the same song? Like, nope, because nope. Why Khalik's up now? Like he's not in first. I had to go back and figure it out.
It's cool to hear you say that because that was the goal. The goal
Yeah.
was to have it run straight through beyond, and like when you're talking about how long did it take, like beyond just the recording of the verses and even the making of the beats, because
Yeah.
some of the beats just start as even just like a loop, whatever it is. Then it's the transitions, and it's trying for me like to get it like that. Because some of my favorite projects are like that. That's the shit that I really like to listen to, and I think that's where I really enjoyed getting into like the super fine tune aspects of putting it together.
Yeah, I haven't. For me, listening to projects, I got to run through it. 5, 6, 7
feel you on
times to
that,
give it
yeah.
like give it its true like. For me, like, is this a 5 mic?
I'm not one to
album?
listen to it once and be like, "This is a classic."
Yeah, I
Or, like,
can't.
no,
I
need
can't
some
do
time
it
with
that
I get
way.
that.
I
get
can't do
that.
it that way. But
Yeah.
I will say, like, it's one of them. It's one of those projects that you play. It's more like rather than songs, it's more like just transitions.
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
think that's really dope.
Yeah.
Especially when you got guys like you got on there. It's like it can all kind of run together and feel like this isn't a new song. This is just the next transition into
Yeah.
the next topic or whatever.
Yeah, that was how I felt, and I feel like for me, I love bars, but when it's super bar dense all the time, a song ends and next one starts, like
Yeah.
your ears, you start not catching every single line all the time because there's just
Yeah.
so many, and so to have little interludes, have those transitions, I feel like then you can kind of, like you said, thematic. You can create moments more so to then
Yep.
when it's someone's verse, you do put them up on that platform.
Yeah,
on
breaks up the
album.
monotony a little bit. kinda
Yeah,
lets,
yeah.
let you breathe a little bit.
Yeah.
Especially with, like you said, with the guys you got on there. It's like, it can be a lot sometimes to listen to guys that are so like, I don't even know, like, Nucky's got like a fucking Ginsu blade. Like, it's just so like,
You got to listen to every single bar because
Yeah.
every single bar is dense, and he's
And-
making some
yes.
reference, some
Yep.
metaphor, some type
Yep.
of thing that it's like you're gonna miss it.
yeah, there's nothing meaningless
Yeah, yeah.
in what these guys are
Exactly,
saying.
exactly.
It all carries weight and carries meaning. So the other thing that I really liked was that the first line you hear on the whole project is a Live on Lake Street reference. I'm
Yeah.
like, that's great. That's phenomenal. And Righteous MC was on another.
I did not think about that until you just
Yeah.
said it. Yeah.
So he was on another platform somewhat recently, and I think he brought up, I forget what he said, but it
Yeah.
was something I don't care when people have negative things to say, or if they have I want you to have your
Yeah,
opinion. If you
yeah.
if you dislike Live on Lake Street, you
Yeah.
dislike me or whatever, like, by all means, feel free to like say what you want. That's
Yeah.
fine. I'm never going to get mad at someone.
Yeah.
It's never personal, but he did it was in regards to one of the songs that he did.
Was it? I honestly don't know. So tell me.
Yeah, it was in regards to one of the songs that he did, the one with the, I forget what it was called, but with the wrestling theme.
Oh yeah. Okay, I know he's doing some stuff.
Yeah,
stuff.
I forget which one it was. I think it was maybe because I think he had done a few of them.
Yeah,
But
I
in-
produced some of them.
Yeah, but in the most recent one, he took a little pop shot at Live
Did
on
he?
Lake Street. Yeah,
Did he? What'd he
yeah.
say?
I don't remember the bar, but I remember after hearing it, I hit him up,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Yo, that shit was hard."
Yeah.
Like I don't care what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like that shit was hard.
And that's
then-
hip hop. I feel like.
Yeah, for sure. And
yeah.
then I asked him to send me some of his music, and
Yeah.
I don't think I ever got back to him.
Yeah.
If he's watching this,
Yeah.
I did run through his.
Hey, shout out to Righteous MC.
For sure, I ran
Yeah.
through his projects, and
Yeah.
man, monster,
Absolutely.
great guy to start the
Beast.
project.
Beast.
Love the fact that he shouted out the I forget exactly what the line was.
I think
but
it was. I know damn near every word because I've heard it so many times. But I don't qualify to be placed on imaginary mountains.
that right there. Yeah, which is great.
Yeah.
And to be honest, like that's why we do the Mount Rushmores, because it does generate conversation. And like I think one of the things that people don't understand about the Mount Rushmores is when you leave somebody off the Mount Rushmore, which
That's
you,
why I hate doing it.
right, but there's only 4.
Yeah.
So like we're taking the bullets for the people that are left off the Mount Rushmore, because what happens is when you don't put somebody on there, all that people's fan base is in the comments saying, where's this guy? What about this guy? Where's that? Why isn't blah blah on there? And people don't realize like that's a great way for you to get your flowers, because by you not being on there, all the people that love and support you, they come out for you. And that's way bigger than it would be if you were on there. The people that are on the Mount Rushmore are like, it's like you either agree or disagree.
Yeah.
But when you're not on there, it's strong disagree with every face on the Rushmore. You know what I mean? That's partially why we do it, is the flowers. You know, like one of the big examples was the DJ one.
Yeah.
The DJ one, we only put 3 DJs up there and
Yeah.
left the last one with the question mark.
Yeah, to see who. I remember that. It was in the comments.
Yeah, and I think most people pretty much agreed that 4th spot would be for DJ Advance.
Mm-hmm.
And I think DJ Advance was like, well, why the fuck wouldn't you put me on there? And it's like, because not everybody is tagging you in the comments, telling you why you were the 4th. Like, we know you're the 4th. We knew that. We knew that you were going to get tagged 1,000 times for not being on there. Like, you got to get you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that makes me wonder, like,
Yeah.
do you care? Would you care to be on a producer Mount Rushmore? Would that mean something to you, or would that not be?
I think it depends. I'm going to give you like not a like definitive answer, I feel like.
Yeah.
Because just producer, there's so many different niches within
True.
hip hop. And so if it was like a producer Mount Rushmore and it was all producers, like we talked about styles of music before, and producers who are making a different style of hip hop than I am.
Yep.
I'm not going to be mad at something like that. Like I can't consider myself. But if all of a sudden I saw 3 people on there that I think are making beats very similar to me,
Yeah.
I would hope to be on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I mean? You want to see your name up there with anybody who you would consider yourself to be a peer with, or, you know, anybody wants to be the best of the best in that regard.
Yeah, and producer is sort of a broad statement too,
For real.
because like you're telling me like you make the beats and you're engineering the whole project.
Yeah.
You're doing everything.
Yeah.
The only thing you're not doing is the rapping,
Yeah.
but you're doing everything else. And there are
Yeah.
producers out there that just make beats,
Yeah.
send them off.
Yeah. It's a really, a lot of people use the word and it means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
So is that something that's really important to you, is the engineering aspect as well?
I think being in the studio is. I think it's really, I really like that. And I think not just making the beats, but like, say with Juice, like being in the studio with him during Don't Be Stupid and putting that together, like that he and I, like to be somebody who I feel like it's like my job to like get the best Juice Lord out of him. He's
Yeah.
an amazing MC, and to be able to give him feedback that actually will help him and say like, I really liked when you did that. Like keep doing that on like later in the verse, whatever that is.
Another aspect of production that
Yeah.
doesn't probably get the recognition it should, because it's part of the process that we don't see.
Yeah, no, I really enjoy that. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's really valuable. Like, it means a lot to me that these guys are all as receptive to me as they are
Yeah.
with that kind of stuff.
Yep.
The aspect of actually being the one recording, like pressing record behind the computer, like being the one mixing. If I was ever at a spot that I didn't have to do that, I probably wouldn't. You know, I'd be fine having
Yeah.
a recording engineer. I'd be fine recording and sending it off to somebody to get a professional mix and all that.
For sure.
But for sure, making the beats and like being in the studio is important to me, more so like with the art that we're actually creating.
Do you engineer outside of your own music? Like, do you have like a?
I
or not
will for
really?
some of these guys, like as a favor more so, but it's
Yeah,
not
it's
something.
not something you
It's
wanna
not
do.
something I try to do.
Yeah.
I don't really try to. I don't want to make a lane for myself doing that. Really.
Only reason I ask is because your project is very well engineered.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, I try to do that because if it's not, no one's gonna listen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. No, that's a fact. I mean, I don't think. No disrespect to anybody else, but we don't. I don't feel like we have like enough really good engineers in Minnesota.
Honestly, I don't really know because I stay in my basement and I work with the guys that I do.
I just hear albums and songs that I'm like, what happened here? You know what I mean? Like, it can be a really dope song.
Yeah.
And you could even listen to it like on your phone, right? If
Yeah,
you're
and it
just playing
sounds
it off your
fine.
phone, it's like, yeah, cool. But then you play it in the car and it's like, ugh.
No, I mean, I know that my music was like that early on, and that's why I spend so much time trying to have it not be like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for somebody that isn't engineering like
Yeah.
as a your craft or as
Yeah.
your profession, you're a pretty fucking good engineer, man.
I appreciate it. I mean, I really try to put the time in.
Yeah.
Half of it I feel like is setting up my studio space,
Mm-hmm.
and I've spent a lot of time getting like the right. I don't even know what you call it, but like the bass traps in the corner, all the right like sound equipment and all that, so that before like other studios I had been in like early on, just in like basements and like shitty spots and all that.
Yeah.
I'd mix it. You think it sounds hard, you go in the car, it sounds like trash, whatever.
Yeah.
And so now having a space where I get a mix that's accurate. I listen to it
Yeah.
on my phone, it sounds the same way. I listen to my car, it sounds the same way, all that.
Yeah.
And like doing the research on like setting that space up and doing it in that way,
Yeah.
it honestly makes things a lot easier for me. And
How
then
how did you learn all of this?
fucking like YouTube.
All,
Like,
so it's all self-taught.
I grew up. My grandma, like I feel like a lot of people say this, but like, my grandma played piano in church, and she was really big on piano, and she was really big on like not playing by reading music, but playing by like ear, knowing
Yeah.
like what sounds good and all that. And so she was really big on like making sure that I could do that same thing. And I played the drums, and so I feel like that translates to the stuff that I do, like sampling and like blending samples. Definitely, I need to be able to hear what blends well and what doesn't, I guess, in that regard.
Yeah.
But beyond that, yeah, just a lot of like looking shit up and being like, how do I do this?
Yeah.
Got to figure that out.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that forget that that's an option. It feels like, I mean, YouTube University is out there for all of
Yeah.
you to do. You can learn just about anything.
Yeah, no, and everybody learns different, and I always have to remind myself of that. But I say that to say, like, I'll have people talk to me, ask me that question, and they'll be like, I'm trying to go to school for this, I'm trying to do this. And I have to remind myself that maybe that's the best for them, because
Yeah.
they're going to learn better in school. But for me, I'm always like, don't spend your money on that. Just
Yeah,
learn it
that's-
online. Just do
yeah.
it. But everyone's different, I know.
That's true. That is true. And if you got the money to do it, then go ahead.
Yeah, and I'm not going to stop somebody. I'm just
Yeah.
like, I don't know, for me. And it's probably the like having that like curriculum,
The
and
structure.
that, like the regimen that comes with being
Yeah.
in school, where
Yeah.
I think I really had to like put in time and like tell my girl like, you're not going to see me for a while. I'm trying to learn how to do this one thing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to do this. It's going to be a late night in the studio and all
Yeah.
that.
But if she wants you to come have spaghetti with her, you can stop it and then go have some spaghetti.
That's the nice part
And
about
then
having the
go
studio
back.
at home.
Yeah, you don't got to you don't got to follow the curriculum or the class schedule or the whatever. You're on your own schedule.
That's exactly it. And I can learn the things that I feel like are relevant to me too.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can. Yeah, you can. You can put your focus on what you want to focus on.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about what the focus is for class that day or what you can just, okay, I need to know more about this.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I'm sure, like, if I had spent time in school, I bet we would have spent time on vocals for people who are singing. Because why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I don't mix singers. I never mix anyone who sings. I had Reiki on the hook on this, and I spent time really trying to get his vocals sounding good. But I would deal with rappers. Like, it's just different. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so I didn't have to focus on learning how to do that. I just deal with rappers. It's
Yeah.
different.
Would you deal with singers? Is it
Yeah,
something you wanna
absolutely.
do?
I mean, I think my thing with anyone, not just singers, would be I'm very stubborn probably about the sound and wanting to have a good sound, wanting it to sound a certain way and not wanting to do something that's outside of like what I would consider to be my sound, because I feel like even from like just a like branding perspective, it's good for me to have a sound.
Yeah.
And so if there's people like singers that I can like do some stuff with that fits within that, I'm
Yeah.
down absolutely. Like I always think about the project, I don't know if you know it, that Knowledge did with Anderson .Paak under like No Worries.
Yes.
And it's super sample heavy, R&B, all that.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that I would absolutely love to do. And that's why I say that, trying to find something that's still kind of in my lane.
Yeah. Because Andy he's a singer, but it's like, he's so much different than anybody else.
Yeah, and that's kind
Even
of why
when
I
he's-
say that, because
even
it's a
when
unique
he's
project.
singing, he's still kind of rapping.
Yeah.
His flow doesn't really change from when he's rapping to when he's
Yeah.
singing.
And I'd probably be stubborn where it's like, I don't want to change my beats too much to adapt to somebody so they could do that. I'd want to find somebody who can kind of work with what I'm trying to do, because I like
Yeah.
that. I don't know.
Yeah. So, do you have what is your end game? Like, what's your goal? What is
It's a good question, huh?
Yeah, I mean, do you want to just, is this what you want to do for your career, for life? You want to eventually be producing for Drake? Like, what is it?
No, that would be great. Absolutely, that would be great. I
Yeah.
don't want to sit and kid myself and like live the constant pipe dream of like, I'm one hit away. But
Yeah.
the other side of it is there's people that happens to too.
For
And so I
sure.
feel like it's the balance of like being realistic, but also trying to like, make it happen with where I'm at now and being, realistic about where I'm at. But no, if I could be doing this, making money at this and working at this full time, and not just making money, but like making money, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That'd be great. That would
Surviving,
be absolutely great.
putting food on the table.
For
and all
real,
that,
for real.
yeah.
No, that would absolutely be great. I
Yeah.
think the thing I constantly think about with that is what the things I continue to do are probably where I'm going to carve a lane for myself by doing those things.
Yep.
And so doing things that I want to create a niche for myself and all that. And that's why I talk about like sound in that same way.
Do you ever play around with the idea of trying some different sounds, or you want to stay in the lane that you're in?
I'm not against it at
Yeah.
all. I think that right now, and again, there's a bunch of different ways to do it. There's people
For
who
sure.
listen that'll probably be like, yo, you're wrong, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But like seeing, like I think a lot about like Wu-Tang and like RZA and what
Yeah.
he did, and a lot about even like Griselda and like with Derringer early on, and I feel like they had a sound.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, they start to experiment. Like with Griselda, you'll see Benny and Conway rap over other kinds of beats and all that.
Yep.
But I feel like early on we knew that sound, and
Yeah.
to me that seems like it works. And so I'm probably in the same way. Like I want to do this. I want to create my sound. I want people to know what an Ace P beat sounds
For
like.
sure.
And then once we're at that point, and I feel like that is absolutely the case, then sure, I'm not mad at anything like that. But I think that there's some advantage to having that.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And I also, just at a selfish level, I really like the idea of these guys right here
Yeah.
having a guy.
For me, I think it's super dope too.
I think that's really dope. It's
Yeah.
like you guys have kind of just naturally formed this conglomerate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think
Yeah.
that's special, and I think that is something that's something that's marketable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's something that can, like a Griselda.
Yeah.
Y'all could create a collective.
Yeah.
And call it. You know, I know some of these guys are already part of other collectives, but you know, if at some point they're
Yeah.
thinking like, hey, because I know you've aside from just this project, you've produced for just about everybody. On
Exactly.
Here, right?
If I haven't
mean,
already, I've got tracks in the works with
Yeah.
all. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I know you got work with Nucky. I know you got. There's some unreleased shit at Nucky's, right?
Some, yeah. Yeah, he's got some stuff on my hard drive. Juice has the most sitting on my hard drive, though.
Yeah.
I think I could leak like a 20-track project of Juice's right now.
Yeah, for sure. What about Wycliffe?
Little bit. He records more at his spot, so I don't have as much on my hard
He's a
drive. of
really
his.
he's a really great engineer.
Yeah. So he's got some stuff that I've sent him, but he of all these guys, he's the one that records more at his spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if everybody knows that, but like Wycliffe is he's special with music.
Yeah.
Not just rapping. He knows how to put together music.
Yeah, and that's why I'm like, honestly, you know what you're doing. I'm gonna let
He
you do
does.
your thing.
He
Like,
does. He's borderline an OG out here.
yeah, for real.
I mean, he's been doing it for a long time.
For
Yeah.
real.
But man, I want him to get more active.
Yeah, why do you say that?
Like I said, I think he's one of the best we got here.
Yeah, just like more releasing more stuff. You mean?
Yeah. I mean, either releasing more stuff or just, I don't know, making TikToks or
Yeah.
something, just being out here more. But I know,
Yeah.
like, I have no idea what is going on with him in his personal life. Maybe he's not able to. Maybe he's got a job and he's too busy. I never know.
No, I mean, I have no idea. I know even for me, like I've had people say that to me. It's like you're not out that much. It's like I just like making beats and kicking it in my spot. Really.
I need to say the same thing about me,
Yeah.
which is I'm outside every day. I'm outside every day.
Yeah.
Like I go home at the end of the night, but during the day I'm out here.
Yeah.
All
I
day,
can't
every
say
day.
the same, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm out here every
Yeah.
day. Every day. Chief will attest. I'm out here every single day.
Yeah.
And people think I'm not in the venues and the clubs. I'm there
Hey.
all the time.
I see it on IG. Seems like it.
I'm out all the time,
Yeah.
man. I'm out here. But I got 4 kids and shit at home, and like, it's a lot, man. I'm raising I got teenagers in my house, bro. Teenage boys, like, it's a lot.
That would
People
make
don't
my
know.
life a lot harder to put all the time I do into this.
Yeah. You got kids?
No. One day that'd be dope, but
Yeah.
no, not today.
How old are you?
30.
Are you 30?
Yeah,
Damn.
just turned 30.
Well,
yeah.
shit. I would have guessed younger.
Appreciate that.
Good for you.
Appreciate that.
Good for you. Keep your youth. Keep your youth. Good for you, man. So, so the project. Do you know how well it's doing? Is it doing well?
It seems like people are streaming it. I haven't been checking regularly, and all the numbers I get are on a mad lag, it seems like.
Yeah, they definitely are.
But it seems like people are checking it out.
Yeah.
YouTube, I'm super happy about the Patterns video. We're at I think 4.3K videos or views, and so I was super happy about that.
Monstrous. I don't know if
Yeah.
you know, and I didn't tell anybody this, but I actually sent that to Royce the 5'9".
Shit. Appreciate you.
I
did not know that.
I had his attention for a minute.
Man, I appreciate you.
Yeah, I had his attention for a minute. He was responding to my comments on
Yeah.
one of his posts. So
Yeah. Hey.
slid it right over. I actually
Appreciate you.
don't tell nobody, but I actually cropped out Nucky's verse and just put a video of Nucky's verse in the comments with the link to the whole video. I'm like, I feel like if anything's gonna draw Royce the 5'9", it's gonna be Nucky's verse. No disrespect to the other guys. I just feel like Royce would get that.
Yeah.
But
No, that'd be dope.
he never
I appreciate
responded.
you.
He never responded or liked it.
No, I appreciate you. I appreciate you thinking about doing that, man.
Yeah.
That means a lot. It means a lot that people fuck with it, honestly.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Thank
It's all
you.
pretty amazing. What you're doing is great. The project is great. I'm
Thank
gonna
you.
run through it about 15 more times
I appreciate you.
and break down more of the bars and the lines and the
You
production.
got any early favorite tracks? I'm curious.
God, God, I'm so bad with
No,
track
I am
titles.
too. I actually hate that question because I never remember track names.
Because I don't look at them.
No, I don't. I just read it straight through.
on a.
Yeah.
I mean, it's different when it's a single.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? If it's a single, I'll remember it. But
Yeah.
when I'm listening to a project,
Yeah.
I just press play.
No, I'm the same way.
And that's really it. But I mean, I can tell you, like, obviously I like the first track right off the bat. Fair Oaks Drive. When you see Fair Oaks Drive, like immediately I'm like, I think Drake.
Oh, yeah.
Because he
yeah.
does the street name
Yeah, yeah,
songs.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I'm immediately thinking like, this is some like, and it does play that way.
Yeah.
It does play that way a little bit.
Yeah.
Like that, yeah, hungry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For me, it was
bars.
Cool. That was the name of the street I grew up on, and these guys are all talking about where they grew up, so that's why I named it that.
Let's see. The Hustle is great.
Yep.
Let's see. I'm trying to. I'm looking at the.
No, it's all good.
The artist names because that's really what I'm going to remember. Patterns is obviously fire. It's really good to see Vinny Crooks back out here.
Bro, Vinny, I love Vinny.
Yeah, he's a special guy.
Yeah, for real.
Special with that mic.
Absolutely.
You don't have anybody on here that's not special with the mic. Sekou, I'm sort of new to him, but like
Yeah.
every time I've heard him, I'm like, man.
He's a beast.
Same with Righteous. I mean, Righteous MC. Like I know he's been out here for a long time. I've just I hadn't tapped in.
Yeah.
But monster.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
monster. And then
Absolutely.
obviously all the other guys, are monsters. Yeah, I think I said The Hustle. Long time coming. Was Long Time Coming out before?
Cleek did a reel that I think got a lot of views on IG.
Okay.
That he was doing that. That track was a track that I made that beat for Don't Be Stupid. And then I think Juice just didn't have anything for it right off the rip, but he thought Cleek would sound good on it.
Yeah,
and so
well,
he sent
he
it
was
to
right.
Cleek. And he was just like, yeah, I sent it to Cleek. I think he's recording over it. And then Cleek recorded that, and we were both like, jeez. Like, and he just had the first verse at first, and then later he laid down the second verse, and it was all on the album and all that. But it was kind of funny how that came together.
You never picked up a mic before?
Early on, nothing that was even like really recorded, like early on, and then I realized that was not it.
That's not who you were in the equation.
I think it's like you want to be in music. A person wants to make music
For sure.
and you see someone rapping, and you're like, I like rap. So how am I gonna play a role in that?
Yeah.
Well, the most obvious, it's like somebody who wants to be in rock music.
Why
Like,
you
I want to be
think-
the front man.
Why
Whatever
do you
that
think
is.
I'm here?
Yeah.
That's exactly why I'm right here. I've known since I was a child that I wanted to be involved
But
in
it's like
music
finding your
somehow. And then honestly, I gave up for a long time. Like I
Right.
just like music. That's it. I'm just gonna listen to music and like music.
I feel
and,
that.
And then I think once I started listening to Joe Budden podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Very early. Like
Yeah.
I'm talking like the first few episodes, and then I found Brilliant Idiots with Charlamagne and Andrew
Yep.
Schultz, and I'm like,
Yep.
what is this thing that people are doing? This podcast.
Because that would have been, I mean, you said you started like around 2015, and I
yep.
remember those in like 2012, 2013, all that. Yeah.
Yep. And then I found Combat Jack.
Yep.
The Combat Jack show was like, that right there is what I want to do.
Yeah.
Because Combat Jack
That's
was
dope.
he was the real reason that we started doing the Wiseman show.
That's dope.
Because Combat was like, yeah, you're a dope artist, but I want to know about you
Yeah.
as a person.
Yeah.
And that's why the Wiseman show, we do 3-hour episodes sometimes because
Yeah.
we'd be getting to know them as a person.
That's cool.
And I will someday get back to that. But
Mhm.
unfortunately, we live in an era where unless you're Joe Rogan,
You don't get the views. For
people
that.
aren't listening or watching for 3.5 hours. It just
No.
isn't happening.
I
So
agree with that people aren't going to watch, but also that it sucks people don't watch.
it. Does
Yeah.
suck. It does suck. But I think, like I said, unless you're Joe Rogan or Joe Budden or, Charlamagne or
Yeah.
for Breakfast Club
Yeah.
or whatever, like
Yeah.
we're going to build this platform up to that.
Yeah.
I want to get to a point where it doesn't matter how long it is.
Yeah.
People are tuning in.
For real.
You know what I mean? But it is tough, and we are in a niche market because, like, let's be real. Like, you don't have a Wikipedia page. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to get people, at least nationally, to tune into something about a kid named Ace P that's
Yeah.
in Minneapolis
Oh, yeah.
making music. Like,
Absolutely.
you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, I don't know who this guy is. Why do I care?
Yeah, absolutely. It's
Yeah.
all marketing. It's all got to be trying to find people who probably have some kind of buzz, and then everyone can build off of that.
Yep.
That was the same idea with this project. It's
Yep.
like, let's get all of us. We're all going to be stronger together than we would be separate.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I feel. That's how I've always felt about it, too, is,
Yeah.
let's bring in all of these fan bases. Let's
Mhm.
get all of these people, all these
Mhm.
artists, all these other media platforms, everybody in here to, bring in. And then you venture out and you start, interview a football player or a boxer
Yeah.
or someone that owns a juice bar, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And all of a sudden you're just melding all these people into one pot, and then it starts to circulate.
No, I feel it's about that name recognition, really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It
Yeah.
is. I feel like we've done a pretty good job over here in about a year.
People know who you are.
Yeah.
People definitely know who you are.
I mean, Righteous MC is fucking dropping bars about us to lead
that's
you
what I
to
just
start
when
your
you said that,
project.
I was like, I mean, if people already dropping bars about you,
I love that. Like, I've legit loved that. I mean, I've had full diss tracks made about me personally a while back.
I mean, how could you not? Like, if I was in your position, I'd be like, this is dope. Like,
I
people
love
give
it.
enough of a fuck
Yeah.
about this to actually like lay something down.
Yeah. I mean, there's, you know, as we've learned, there's a couple of lines you don't cross.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when Drake mentioned Pusha T's wife. He didn't even say anything all that bad, but he mentioned it.
You don't do that.
And that was enough.
No, you don't do that.
Right? That's where you draw the line.
Yeah.
Talk about my wife, talk about my kids.
Yeah.
Everything else, say whatever the fuck you want. I don't care. I live my truth anyway, so there's nothing you're going to say that's going to really affect me. Like, you're not going to say anything that I wouldn't publicly say anyways. Other than that, it's just your opinion.
That's where it gets tough if you're playing a character, and then it's the other
Yeah.
thing. But that's where you can't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and I want you to have your opinion. I want people to have their opinions.
Yeah.
So if your opinion of me is I'm a culture vulture and I look like Adam 22 and
Do people say that?
oh my God, or I'm Vlad, I'm the police, that's fine. That's your opinion. But those things aren't true.
Hey,
So I don't,
you just give people a platform to say whatever they're
Yeah.
gonna say.
yeah, you're not going to hurt me with things that aren't true.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm going to, if it's good, if it's well done, I'm going to enjoy it.
Yeah.
You might even get a share out of me. You know what I mean? Like, you might get me to share my own diss track. If you're talking shit about me on a record, I'm probably going to share it.
Yeah. You can't in hip hop. You can't take that stuff too seriously.
Nah.
If you come in and you let all that stuff affect you, you're gonna be out real quick.
Yeah, no, that's a fact. So, we're pushing the project.
Yep.
Do you already have the next thing in the works, or are you going to focus some time on making sure this is circulating properly?
Definitely want to spend some time on this. I
Yeah.
feel like it's so easy to drop something, keep it moving, do that, and I feel
Yeah.
like to me this really deserves its attention just
Yes.
with the number of people that are on it, the way that they all came through and killed it. Like, I really do want to run this, do as much as we can, get another video in, all that.
Yeah.
But beyond that, a lot of more just like same type of shit I've been doing, producing for a lot of these guys on their own projects. I've got a project with Righteous MC. Actually, he and I are working on one.
Okay.
That'll come out. Project with Bushido Chop you were talking about before.
Yep.
June and I are talking about getting something going this next year.
Boy, he came out of nowhere too.
June is insane. June is nuts. Have you heard that track he and I did, The Vent?
Yes.
That one is nuts. He is insane on that. I don't even mean to say that because it's like my production. He's just nuts on that one.
No, he's another guy that's special.
Yeah.
And it's no disrespect to him, but it comes out of a package that you don't expect it from.
Yeah.
Like, he's this big burly guy. You know what I mean? Like, you'd expect it to be like more aggressive, but he's so smooth.
Yeah,
man. Like,
he
it's
is.
just so butter.
He really
it's another guy that it looks effortless.
Absolutely.
It looks like
Even that night that he recorded that track, The Vent, we had been doing a session for some other track, whatever,
Yeah.
and I had sent him the beat for that, and it was just one I was like, yo, I think you would sound dope on this, let me know if you got anything. And then it was like late. Like, I remember I was like kind of like about to pass out, and he's like, hey, can I just record this one thing? He did it in like one take.
man. Yeah, he's a special guy, man. You got all the special guys on there.
I feel honestly really grateful, really fortunate,
Yeah.
honored to have them all on there and release it with all of them. It feels really special to be able to do it, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's a good. So, I mean, like I said, upon first listen and a half, it's a really good project.
I appreciate
I
you.
didn't expect it not to be.
I appreciate
know
you.
all these guys. I know what they do. I know what you do. Like, I'm not surprised by how good it is. I was a little surprised maybe by the engineering.
I appreciate that.
Just because I'm used to not the greatest engineering all the time. Like, the sound isn't always there. The mix is a little off, or the mix is different from this track to this track, and this one is really consistent straight through.
It was a big focus of mine was making this accessible for anyone and not making it seem amateur, from the album art to the merch to the rollout to
Yeah.
the mixing, all that.
Well, the shirt is hard fire.
Appreciate you. Appreciate
Fire.
you. Hit the link in my bio to buy them.
Yes, please go buy a shirt. Like, support the hometown heroes.
Yeah,
man,
come get a
'cause-
hoodie too.
for sure. I like the hoodie too.
Thank you, man.
Any closing thoughts?
No, I mean, let me shout out all these guys, though. Shout out to Juice Lord. Shout out to Vinny Crook. Shout out to Nucky. Shout out to Righteous MC. Shout out to June the Kid. Shout out to Sekou. Shout out to Y Khalik. Shout out to Bushido Chop. Shout out to Naj. Shout out to Reiki. Couldn't have done this without all of y'all.
Yeah, y'all did a great job, man. Everybody did their thing on the project. I really want people to go listen to it. I don't know if they'll listen to me or not, but go listen to it. I'm going to post it on my timelines today, get it out
Appreciate
there.
you.
And, man, I appreciate your time, man.
Hey, appreciate you.
This was fun.
Yeah,
And I imagine this won't be our last time sitting down.
definitely.
Next time you got something,
Definitely.
let's do it again.
Yeah, no, I know you talked about what's next. I mean, down the road, once we all part ways, do our own thing, I definitely want to come back together and do something
Yes.
like this again when we're all, leveled up.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure, man. Well, shit. Where can they find you?
Ace P Production, IG, that's the best spot.
Ace P
Yeah,
Production.
at Ace P _production.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, again, I appreciate your time and keep going.
Appreciate you,
Keep
man.
doing your thing. That's it. Another episode of Minnesota's #1 daily show live on Lake Street. I'm Jake Faircloth. Follow me everywhere at Jake Faircloth1.
It ain't that I can't stop, it's that I won't stop. I made a few plays off a flip, now I'm on top. I'm Southside Chief, homie. Yeah. What you know about it? Lake Street legend CEO, not the co-founder. What you wanna know about me? I'm so churched up. I'm the last man standing, but I went first up. Most hated, they don't say it when I roll up. The things that people say about me, they don't say close up. Check it.